Can I take it as well?
He's not reading the situation right, which is that Tony has no interest in bluffing him.
I know.
I mean, is that just because we can see the cards, or it's kind of obvious that Tony is playing snug, isn't it?
Tony really hasn't been doing anything, and it was interesting because, you know, I see this all the time in poker where someone makes the right read. Phil actually announced what Tony's hand was. He said, "Oh, you have a king," and then he still called with the 7.
There could be like a logical explanation.
It was a goofy bet, all right.
I love it when the world's watching me. Break another record, break another record, break another record, break another. That's what I like. And I don't want to break a record here of having the low points ever. So that's one record I don't want to have.
Welcome back to this last match of the regular season. Pins and needles here as Roland waits with bated breath. Anything but the bagel will see him straight to the final.
Roland has now anteed off 16,000, trying to get somebody to go out, and things are timing out so badly for Roland. And he absolutely came in with the right strategy, and this may end up really backfiring on him.
I mean, in a sense, Roland's rooting for Phil to get chips here, because the more chips Phil gets, there's going to be this sort of pressure on Devilfish and Juha to make something happen against him, right?
Right, and it's just that he's just going to see how far can I blind myself down before I'm in, you know, terrible danger of getting to 0 if things don't time out properly.
Tony's made a raise to 6, and Phil's made it 18 for the small blind, and the fish. The fish. All right.
Was thinking about making a little bit of a squeeze. He probably would have been successful with it. But who knows? Phil might be in the mood.
I didn't come here to fold.
This time I think I have you.
We'll see.
Well, I mean right now. See, last time I didn't have you.
This is going to be bad for Tony. We'll see if Tony can get away from this.
Good bet, Tony.
Did you? I think you mean you want to see how much money Tony can lose this hand, rather than if he can get away from it.
You said that, not me.
Well, I love Tony, but
yeah,
he certainly hasn't gotten away from top pair in this Premier League.
Yeah, Tony doesn't like to lay down, and Tony will continue to bluff until his head is bloodied against the wall. And you know, Tony was, I think, trying to represent the flush here. And hopefully he's not going to take another bet here. Tony, no, don't. What are you doing, Tony?
Let's see if you got the heart and commitment to this game.
Go on, Tony G. Go on, Tony G.
If Phil folds here when he's so free.
To be honest, I think I might get it.
This could be a record.
Yeah.
This is Tony's problem. He has a hand that he can win with. There's no reason not to check this here. None. There is not a. He's not going to get Phil to call with a worse hand. He can only get called by a better hand. It doesn't seem like it makes sense as a bet.
I know. I think you hit the flush, right?
If Phil folds this, then I'm going to actually go and pat Tony on the back in the studio for reading the situation much better than I.
I have the feeling he's just betting this for fun. I mean, I think this is because this is fun. If Phil calls here, he thinks if he's got the best hand and Phil calls, he goes out first. I think Tony thinks he's winning. I mean, I know it's crazy, but no.
If Tony thinks he's winning, he's supposed to check. Though that's the problem. So Tony can't.
So he thinks he's bluffing. He knows he's bluffing.
Yeah, he has to know he's bluffing, because if he thinks he's winning, he has to check.
I don't mind. God. What the heck could he have?
You know, Phil, this entire Premier League, he's been damned if he does and damned if he doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't like the deuce of clubs is what I didn't like.
I'm rooting so hard for Phil to call here, just so that he doesn't get bluffed off this pot by Tony. After the rough Premier League he'd had, I'd like him to make the hero call here. I really am rooting for him to do this right. There we go.
Okay, so I have 46.
Kind of new.
Yeah. And Roland is going to be so happy now.
Well, Roland has just made the final table.
Yes, he has.
46.
I mean, so excuse me, Tony still has 16,000, but in Roland's mind,
yeah. And I have to say again that, you know, I don't think Phil was ever actually going to fold there. I think he was thinking it through, but he wasn't going to fold.
Wow.
And the problem for Tony there is if he thinks he has the best hand, he's supposed to check. Because Phil's not going to call in all in with a 9 or a 7 there.
It's pretty easy call.
Really?
Nothing to lose seems to be the perfect recipe so far for Phil Hellmuth to win. Everybody's motivated, though. Final point standings get converted to chips for the final table. So Andy Black and Tony G playing for extra chips there.
32 call.
Wow, he really wants you. What am I going to do? Fold?
Nothing.
It was a quick call from the Devilfish to Tony G's all-in.
Right.
I'm guessing it's at least over cards,
Yeah, ace queen.
I mean, you
Well, let's see. I haven't seen the Devilfish get lucky with too many all-in situations. So
You've been talking to him a lot then, have you?
no. I beat him with the 10-7 against the Queen 9, and
But actually, Fish is out.
although he did forget that he won the race with the ace jack against my 2-9. So. And Tony still has the best hand, obviously. Devilfish has about 24%,
Jack
I would
makes it
imagine.
exciting.
A
Big
little
pot
better
for the
than that.
Fish, bigger pot for Roland DeWolf.
Wow.
That's a
An
great
8
cut,
now. An 8.
I know that Roland DeWolf is really rooting for the Fish to hit this right now. Look at this, look at this. He looks
This
like
is
he's
a
lost
fake
already,
house.
doesn't he?
It's a great card.
Well, the 8.
Oh, Jack,
No.
you wanted the Jack. Is that it?
I have to say, in all-in
calling
situations
for the Jack.
during
Go
this
ahead.
Premier
Well,
League,
you managed to
Tony
win
G
one
has
race in
been
a
the
week.
luckiest player I've ever seen. And I'm not, no begrudging him that, by the way. That's really just a statement
You
of
need a
fact, but I'm
goofy
not sure
player
I've
in there
seen
for
him
the
lose
fan, for the
a
arm.
situation where all his chips are in the
I won
pot.
one race in this place in a week.
Sorry, Roland. I could have done it for you there too. Huh? If I busted out.
Look
was
at
a
him.
bad
He's,
beat for
that's
me.
a
I might have to
dejected
settle
face.
with
He's
you
just,
guys.
what is going on?
Keeps going
Look at
down.
that. He just looks like that's a
If Fish
man
wins
ready
either
to
one of
jump
those
off a
pots,
bridge, isn't it?
In the green room, Vicky feeling the pressure and funking to see the back of Fish and Yuha. Lusk can go straight to the final if Roland leaves first.
Well, you needed to win the race. You'd have the chip lead. Tony G could have had anything there on the button. Anything.
Exactly right.
Raise it again.
Right.
Let's make it.
Now Phil has actually
12.
looked at his cards. He's trying a new strategy.
Well, geez, Yuha's in a spot.
Now Yuha should get all his chips in
Alright.
here,
Right.
as expected.
And
And Phil may very well call, by the way. He's got a lot
High
of
probability
chips.
I'm going to call. Let's see if you have. Let's see how much the raise is.
I mean, it's a big raise, but Phil really doesn't have anything to lose by calling at all. And he also knows that he has this bet between Yuha and Devilfish, and so he'd like to be the one to knock Yuha out and win this
You
bet.
got
that he
somebody
has.
all in, so you've done well. You've created the action. Phil Hellmuth said he's calling all in.
see it,
46, huh?
I bet that Phil will fold.
Have you washed your hands?
I don't know what you think.
You think he's going to fold?
I'm only in
It's
bad
not-
shape against a couple of hands here.
I don't think he will.
It's a huge call, but I don't know.
I think
I
I
mean,
got to take my swing to take you out, you, huh?
No, he's going to do it. He's going to do it.
It's pretty sick.
He's obviously got a big hand.
Well, now, you know, this is not a huge swing either way. It's a little worse than 3-2 for Helpy. Helpy is
It's
the
not good
favorite.
for
He's
you.
gotten his money into double up a favorite, and we'll see if he can make it.
He feels so negative, I think, Yuha, right
Yeah.
now. That sort of aura has spread.
Phil's going to have a huge chip lead, by the way,
for me to beat.
if he hits this here.
Passed 2 aces in the
I
tournament.
expect
If
a
Yuha
2,000.
loses this, obviously, he's not only out of the heat, the match, but the Premier League. If he gets knocked out, it'll mean Roland makes the final table.
some justice. He's got a flush draw.
This is going to be so painful for
He's
Roland
the
again.
defending champion, Yuha. I mean, this
know.
is his everything on the line here. He's back in it if this
interesting,
holds.
He does. I mean, Yuha has
Any paints?
over 116,000 if he wins this pot.
No, spade's terrible for me.
That's fair.
Well,
That's
the ace
the
jack
other
is still the best hand by far. He's only down to about 12% of the time Phil's going to hit. And it's a 5. Yuha doubles up, and Roland now wants to stick needles in his eyes.
Yeah, but I called for a lot of reasons.
I understand.
It is so painful when you're looking for people to go out and you just
I
watch
called-
people,
I called
whether
to
they have
take
the
him out. We
best
have a lot
hand
of
or the
side
worst
bets.
hand, just win every
didn't
all
think
in,
he
and
had
it's
ace queen, right?
complete. Look at
You won't pay
that.
the bet anymore.
That is a
I would
sign
pay
of
the
a man
bet
who's on death row.
But it's sort of like the Murphy's Law of poker. Think of your worst nightmare, and it's
And
going to
it-
happen.
and it will happen,
You know, it
and
will
we have
come
to-
true.
Very dark look, very dark look on Roland DeWolf's face. Just saying, will this never end? Will anybody ever go out? Can I ever look at my cards again?
Yeah, the truth is, I mean, you know, as far as
I'm the
his
one that hasn't won a single race.
probably his sort of mood is, you just can't feel like if he does get knocked in the playoffs. I mean, he could be a dead chair in the playoffs. I mean,
Because he may just feel like that the parlay.
who would you?